Howdy everyone, welcome back to my channel. We have finally made it to the final video of the year. It has been a journey to say the least. As always, it's a very special video, but before we begin, make sure to like and subscribe. It's very important to say. I know this, you know this, come on now. We finally made it. It's the last video of the year. This video is about, como se dice, I don't like lists, like numbering things, but these were my favorite reads of 2021. I'm gonna move to the side for this one. So the first book I want to share with you guys is Garlic and the Vampire, which is a graphic novel by Bree Paulson. This was a quick read. It's super wholesome. It's very adorable and funny. The main character, Garlic, lives in this farm with a witch and all her little vegetable and fruit friends when they discover that there's a vampire living in the forest nearby them, and it's up to her to pretty much save the day. It's such a quick read to the point that you're like, I want more, I need more. And this is exactly what this was. This was something of a palate cleanser for me. I don't really read graphic novels, but I do enjoy them a lot, especially for this one. This really stood with me. I think I read this in October, like the first couple of days of October. And ever since then, I kind of just haven't stopped recommending it to people. And speaking of horror, this next book I own physically, it's a book that got me out of a 3-month reading slump. And if you're a booktuber, if you're like a big reader, you know that reading slumps are just like the toughest thing. So the book is Antibody by Chris Williams. This is a book that honestly caught me by surprise. I was never doubting the author's ability to create a great story. When I first met Chris, the book was a manuscript. I really enjoy this. It's a great book because there's horror elements, there's supernatural elements, there's queer representation. The emotional pull that he was able to get from his readers is just, there's pros and cons to that, just because I love getting emotionally attached to characters, but not when they fucking die, okay? Not when they fucking die. It's frustrating, but I really enjoy this book. A part of my top 10 favorite reads ever. The fact that it got me out of a reading slump and I knocked like 4 books in a row after this. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I really enjoy this one too. So hopefully you guys check it out on Antibody. The next book is a book that I also own physically, and I always like talk about it. If you guys know me, you guys know that this book is part of my list. I am a very emotional person. I like to get emotionally attached to characters. I love to cry, I love to laugh, I love to feel things for characters when I read books. That's like my main thing that I look for. This book not only crushed my spirit, crushed my soul. I had a very weird like emotional awakening, and I finally felt like a lot of weight was taken off me after I finished reading this book. And I think maybe I was like clogged up with like emotions. And that book is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. It is like 860 pages. There's a lot of trigger warnings. If you're triggered by certain things, it's probably in there. This book follows 4 friends, like from a very young age to a very old age, through all the ups and downs and the turbulations of life. Honestly, I want to recommend this to everybody, but like I know it's not for everybody just because of the things in this book. I'm telling you, there's a lot of trigger warnings. It's very tough because I do really enjoy this book and I do want people to read it, but not if it's gonna harm them in any way. But yeah, this is another great read that I enjoyed this year. The next book, I saw the cover, it completely caught my attention. Recently an audiobook has been released for this. Heard it, loved it even more, and that book, you guys, is Ragged Company by Rand Stanton. This book was a lot of fun. The main character, Elia Foss, he gets in some shit, guys. Like, he needs to mind his business, but like, if he wasn't doing all these things, would the adventure really have happened? You know, that's what I'm always wondering. The other book came out recently, like I mentioned, and it's amazing. The narrator knocked it out of the park. I definitely recommend picking up the physical copy, but if you're an audiobook reader, the audiobook is phenomenal. This is definitely a must read. I really enjoyed it, and I know there's going to be a sequel. Don't know when, but I'm looking forward to it because I'm shipping a certain 2 characters in this story. I'm not going to say who because I thought I was crazy by shipping them, but like hearing Rance talk about how I was not off on that makes me very excited for the future of the series. Alright, the next one is gonna catch you guys by surprise. I did a vlog for this book. Reading it for the first time, like, that book is Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. Let's just say, guys, this experience was eye-opening. It was a lot of fun. I was surprised of how much I enjoyed it. I watched the movie after and it just like worked. I don't know. Let's just say that I understood the hype behind the series. But obviously, you don't need me to recommend this book to you. Pretty sure half, or if not like all of you guys have read this book already. It's a great book. Guys, the next book is a sequel though. Obviously, read the first book. I just think the second book just did it for me, you know? And that's Trailer Park Trickster by David Slayton. This book ended me. And I was gutted. It's a lot of fun. There's magic, there's like monsters. It's a good story. There's queer representation in this book. And you know, that's always key when you go out to find books. You always gotta find representation where you can find it because it's not everywhere. Yeah, this is definitely one of those books that you need to definitely check out because the series is just so big. It's like, I was telling my friends that this book felt like so much to explore. It felt like Fortnite where there's like this space you can roam around. It's like the world building, chef's kiss, honestly. I'm not a big series reader. Once I get invested in a series, I'm like invested, you know, and this is one of those that I really enjoy. The next book has been recently adapted into a film and I saw it and I swooned and I like, you know, fangirled over it. That book is A Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I did a vlog for this. I deleted it and I'm kind of mad about it because I read it in one night and I was going through all these emotions of all like, oh, I want to be in a relationship, yeti, you know, like all those stupid things. This is a great read. It's a romance book. It's witty. It's like cutesy. It's about like two colleagues. It's like from enemies to lovers kind of thing. The movie adaptation was phenomenal. Lucy Hale and Austin Stonewell did a great job at bringing Lucy and Josh to life. This was a great palate cleanser. Your boy reads too much horror and too much like all these other things. So when I read this, I was really like impressed by how like invested I got into the characters. That's always like, for me, that's the highest like accomplishment for an author, like being able to make me care. The last book is absolutely like a book that took me on this emotional ride. Keyword emotional, guys. I'm pretty sure you guys are noticing this. And that book is called Normal People by Sally Rooney. This is my favorite book ever. I read this during a really tough time in my life and I got very invested in the characters and it kind of took my mind off things. It's such a beautiful story. It deals with imposter syndrome. It's a romance book. Miscommunication is a big thing when you're in your 20s and your 30s. Like, we just kind of miscommunicate with one another and like things are taken the wrong way. And it's like the answer's so simple and it's right there, but we're just too stubborn or too hard-headed to see what's right in front of us. This is a great book and I highly recommend everyone to pick it up. There's a Hulu adaptation of this that I cannot recommend enough. I would read the book first. Those were my favorite reads of this year, and there's a couple of obviously more that could have made the list, but I just wanted to keep it short and sweet. So thank you guys so much for tuning in this year. Thank you for all your support, your love, your messages that you guys have given me over the year. Make sure to subscribe, that's very important. Comment down below which is like your favorite book this year, if that's easy for you to pick, or give me like your top 3, whatever's easy for you. All right, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next year, which is in a couple of weeks. All right, love and peace.